sent to them, including the notice of public
This
meeting.
meeting is being recorded.
Notice of public meeting, which was timely filed. We have our agendas before us. Anyone have any questions or comments on the agenda? If not, I entertain a motion to accept the agenda, which we all received. Can I have a motion? Mary, second. Judy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed. Now we have the minutes from our meeting of February 15th. Does anyone have any comments, corrections, additions, typos? Let me know. If there are no adjustments necessary, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes we have before us for our meeting of February 15th.
Motion.
Amy, second, please.
I second.
Is that? I didn't hear who that was.
It's me, Lauren.
Oh, Lauren, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes are approved. Jill, please proceed.
Good evening, everyone. This month's habit was focused on habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So the following students will receive their Leader of the Month award by the end of this week in school. Congratulations to Wesley Conklin from Crew 101, from Crew 102, Christopher Hosey, from Crew 103, Adeline Conklin, from Crew 104, Percy Hilson III, from Crew 105, Julie Dean, from Crew 106, Terrence Corchado Jr., from Crew 107, Jason Conklin Jr., from Crew 108, Kamara Barber, from Crew 114, Olivia Carpenter, from Crew 115, Vincent Polizzi, from Crew 116, Tracy Lynn Howard, from Crew 117, Eden Lightfoot, from Crew 118, Jelena McDougald, from Crew 119, Leo Howard, nominated by Miss Weber in Arts, Valerie Swain, nominated by Mr. Newman for music, Liliana Prather, nominated by Coach Abrams for phys ed, Aubrey Ann Turner, nominated by NCS support staff, Trenton Wozniak, and last but not least, nominated by Mrs. Felmet is Nolan Tanksley. Congratulations, everyone.
Nice.
Well done, everyone. Congratulations.
Okay, so I also have our Employee Leader of the Month. This nomination came in from Mr. Newman, our music teacher. I would like to nominate Miss Hopkins for Employee of the Month. She is my check-in buddy and has shown what it means to work together and synergize. Miss Hopkins has helped me with any advice I might need as a new teacher. She is a great leader and example of what it means to work together and synergize, which is why I'm nominating her for this month's habit. Congratulations to Miss Hopkins.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work, Ms. Hopkins.
Thank you.
Darcy.
Okay, thank you. I have to read off of my cell phone our Google accounts here at NCS. Our Google Drive's not working for some reason, and that's where my CAO report was. So forgive me as I'm looking down at my phone as I read. I wanted to start off, as I usually do, with some updates for professional development opportunities that have been taking place since the trustees last met. Excuse me. Starting with Mackenzie Reinard, one of our building substitutes primary project I guess, coordinator and ELL teacher, worked at, or attended, I should say, creating a family engagement plan with parents of English language learners. We do, as I mentioned in previous, I think at the last report, we do have a growing population of English language learners now. And so Ms. Reinert is working collaboratively with actually Mrs. Kiker and team to provide those families with the assistance they need. That's what this training was based on. Mr. Curran, Jared Curran, school counselor, Megan Ackerman, 5th grade teacher, Alana Chekla, 5th grade teacher, participated in an online book study through the Orleans Niagara BOCES Teacher Center that was titled Understanding ADD. Kelsey Ansack, 6th grade teacher, and Rebecca Armstrong, 1st grade teacher, attended workshops through the Bureau of Educational Research. These included helping your students who struggle with math, practical successful strategies, and catching up students who have fallen behind in math. Stacy and Trilla Gator from EL Education was here at NCS in person conducting a one-day mid-year review with EL Education. Julie LaRusso, our ELA consultant, was here at NCS for 2 days, and she worked with teachers, and their focus was on aligning writing rubrics. Erie One BOCES coordinators were also at the school for 4 days. This was broken down into two parts, 3 days with Elizabeth Kramer working with grades 3 through 6 on content mapping and working with primary teachers on 3-act math tasks, and 1 day with our ELA coordinator, Katie Augustine, focusing on differentiated instruction. Lastly, NWEA, our benchmark assessment system, provided our staff with a 1-day training on using data to differentiate their instruction. Into my general updates. Since we last met, I did want to give a COVID/mask update. Everyone is pretty aware of this, but with the change in mandates for masking, Niagara Charter School did switch to an option environment. Families were notified, teachers, staff, that is now an option choice to wear a mask at their comfort level. We have had no issues with this. We have staff who wear them, who are comfortable with wearing them, and many students continue to wear them because that is something that they feel comfortable with, and so do their families. So that went off very successfully, that change in the policy. We have continued our COVID cleaning and sanitation measures to make sure that the environment is kept clean for the students. And we are into a little bit of sinus season, so we definitely have some sniffles and sinus things going on. But other than that, everybody's doing very well and staying very healthy. The one issue, which is, I guess it's a good problem to have, but we now have quite the abundance of COVID take-home testing kits. And we were just speaking recently where the policy we had was to not send them home with students because they were a real hot commodity and people were having such a hard time getting them. We didn't want to, put students in jeopardy, putting them in their backpacks, and God forbid someone stole their backpack or what have you, or got their testing kit. But we have so many that we have to start looking to deploy those out to families who may need them or want them. And if they feel comfortable with us sending them home with their child, we're going to start doing that because we are actually running out of storage space. That is how many that we have on hand. And so they do expire, and they're labeled as such. So we're going to start some type of deployment plan to free up some space because literally the back nurse office is full. So more information on that. And then lastly, for my general update, I spoke to Megan, and Megan actually just put out an email to the staff. So I wanted to make sure while we were on together to mention the FSA meeting that is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, March 23rd. And that is going to be at 5:30 p.m. in our field house. And I believe Coach Abrams is providing some March mindfulness yoga. So if anyone is so inclined and available to come, please do. We're very excited for it. And so is Coach. And again, that's tomorrow at 5:30. If you have any questions, Mrs. Crisaro can certainly answer them for you. Reach out. She's not on this call, but reach out to her email or give her a call in the front office tomorrow. That concludes my professional development and general updates. If there are no questions or anything I can answer for a trustee, I will move on to the dashboard review and take a few moments to see if there are any questions I can answer about that.
Does anyone have any questions on the dashboard?
I have a question. Concerning the English language learners, are they all different languages?
Oh, yes, Jill, Jill, yes, Mary, there is.
You're quizzing me, Mary. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, they are. There's a few they're in groups. There's 2 at one language and then, I want to say 4 at the other language, and then there's a 3rd language. So yes, they are, a diverse group.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm. But we are, for the first time in maybe in our charter history, we are reaching and probably exceeding our English language learner targets that the State Education Department Charter School Office provide to us. So we're working well on that. And as well as another area we look at are the free and reduced price lunch and students with disabilities. So we are very sound. I should mention, I haven't got this codified and confirmed, but I do believe that Sue Gibbons from the Charter School Office will be visiting us for an informal check-in with Jill and I. What did I set that for, Jill? April 28th? Yeah, April 28th. So this is something that typically this type of dashboard and those categories are something that usually would be reviewed with Sue, and she'll check in and make sure that we're on point and in enrollment and recruitment and that. So yeah, we're looking very, very to the positive.
Is Sue coming in person or is it virtual?
She's well, from the email I read, it's person. Yeah. Which we're excited. We haven't seen Sue obviously since COVID. And for those of you who don't know, Sue Gibbons has been our liaison with the charter school office at the New York State level for the entire time the school's been open, I believe, right, Jim? I think since 2006.
She was an assistant to start.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we had another liaison, but she's always been involved with the school for the entire time. Yes.
And Sue's been very supportive and helpful over the course of the 16 years. So yeah, we're looking forward to having her come out. It is just a brief check-in meeting. She did clarify that she does not need any trustees present, that it would be a meeting just to check in with Jill and myself. And so besides spending some time talking to us, looking at things like the dashboard, we'll usually walk around the building. I'm sure she'll probably want to visit a class or two, or at least pop her head in and see the kiddos, because it's been so long since we've been able to do that. So I'll keep everybody updated once she confirms the date and the time.
The student-led conferences, the attendees there, looks like it was very successful. I don't have anything comparatively, but it seems like that's an excellent number based on my prior experience. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yep,
Absolutely.
congratulations.
And student-led conferences we did in person. So that was on campus. During COVID, we did things virtually, but yeah, that's a very good number to see. Absolutely.
Not to be too silly about it, did you have food at the student-led conferences?
No.
There's no snacks, really?
No.
That without snacks, it's wonderful.
We did hold the book fair though. The book fair is a big draw too. I think people like to come to the book fair.
That's good.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And the book fair was a big success. So I should have that in my next update. I don't think I have that information yet. So yeah. So all good things to report, and it's March Madness, but you know we're doing well here on campus, and just yeah. So if there's no other questions until I think later on, I'm all finished.
Thank you very much for all the good news. Mary,
Basically, there's not a whole lot going on other than preparing for this year's state assessments, which will be a true baseline. This year will be a true baseline for students' proficiency post-COVID. So it should prove interesting. The New York State ELA assessments are being held March 29th through the 31st. The test is back to normal with 2 test booklets, and we are testing the 30th and the 31st. The makeup dates for any students who are absent are April 1st to April 8th. On March 16th, a faculty meeting was held to prep all teachers in the testing grades on testing procedures and routines. We also ordered pencils for each student. The pencils have motivational phrases and sayings on them. So good luck, students. Work hard. That's it. Thank you.
any questions of Mary? Thank you very much, Mary, for keeping track of all that. Okay, now the governance committee, I think the items that actually are an unfinished business are what we have to go through, and Lynn's been following up on those items for me. Can you please bring us up to date on where we are on the evaluation tool and the retreat?
Sure will. So the retreat, the original dates were April 2nd and April 30th. Not everybody can attend those dates. So I've reached out to the facilitator about other dates, June 4th and June 11th. He has not gotten back to me yet. And it might have to be moved to the fall. So we'll have to wait and hear from him. I will let everybody know as soon as I do. The board assessment tool, thank you, Mrs. Boniface, for making it electronically. It will be sent out to all of the board members with information as to when it's due back. And that's all I have, Jim.
Great. Well, it looks like our unfinished is finished for all intents and purposes. We'll carry on, and thank you for following up on those things. Any questions on governance matters from any of the trustees? Okay, thanks very much, Lynn. Ricky, time for finance.
Ricky, you're
Are you
muted.
there?
Yeah, he was talking. He was muted.
Always.
Still can't hear you, Ricky.
Nope.
I think I think Ricky's gonna call in, Jim. I feel like we lost his,
I see he's on the line. It looks, yep.
yeah, I think he's, yeah.
Just give him a minute, ladies and gents.
It shows that he's muted again. I don't know whether that matters.
Now he's up. Can't hear you yet. Okay, Ricky, do you mind if I take it from here and while you're trying to get on? Okay. All right. In your board packet, you have the February financial statements. We are currently working on budget revisions. As you may remember, there's been many changes to our line items due to much of it due to COVID related issues. The financial statements you have are comparative, February 21 to February 22. And as you will see, the net the net profit, for lack of better terminology, is consistent with the prior month. Our expenses, there are a few that are extraordinary, and again, having to do with our new entitlements, which are part of the COVID grants that we filed for and have been given, and we're currently in the process of rebuilding those expenditures. But bottom line, we have a surplus in excess of last year's surplus, showing that we're keeping well within our budgetary restraints. Our balance sheet is consistent with prior years. And you will note, last month we approved restricted reserves for facilities improvements or acquisition, and that's now spelled out. And we are going to determine if it's possible for us to invest some of those funds according to the state guideline. Our attorney is going to follow up on that for us.
Thanks, Jim. Can you hear me now?
Oh, good. Did I do it right, Rick?
You did
you're
fine.
fine.
I got the phone and the computer going, and I can't shut either one off. So I do apologize.
We'll hold off a second because you're more attuned to these resolutions with regard to policies. I'd like you to present that if feasible, or can
Nope,
you do that, or you want me to?
I can present it.
Great, thank you.
Everyone, in your package, you will see a resolution. What we're trying to accomplish with the resolution is to provide some flexibility for Darcy and her team to be able to sign checks and pay bills in a timely manner. The current policy as it stands says that any checks over $2,500 requires at least 2 signatures on it. We're finding that, with availability and having 2 people available, that it's really slowing down our ability to get things paid in a timely manner. So the resolution there is really twofold. The first, what we're trying to accomplish is to change that 2,500 to a 5,000 limit so that Darcy can sign checks on her own signature up to the 5,000. The second part of that is that we have a number of contracts or recurring payments that occur that the board has already approved. And what we want to do is give Darcy authority to sign those checks under her signature alone. And for an example, we would take something like rent. We know the rent is due each month. It's a fixed payment each month. That it doesn't seem to make sense that the board has already approved that. It's a regular reoccurring expense that we have to get the 2 signature for expenses of that nature. So what we're asking for in this resolution is to allow Darcy to sign under her signature alone those reoccurring type contractual obligations of the school. And that way, these will be items that were already approved by the board and they're recurring type expenses. Is everyone kind of clear on that? Any questions regarding that? If there be no questions, I would make a motion that the board approve the resolution as presented in your packet. And I ask for your vote in the affirmative of accomplishing that.
I think we should do them one at a time, Ricky. We've got 3, and we have to talk about the last capitalizing also. Why don't you just go over that one for a minute? Capitalizing asset purchases.
Okay. Today The capitalizing assets, we've used the standard of 5,000. If we're buying any assets 5,000 in value or more, we basically capitalize it as a what you would call a capital expense. So our resolution there is that that to be consistent with the IRS requirements, that we capitalize any asset purchase of 5,000 or more per the invoice submitted there. Any questions regarding that? There being none, so let's start with the resolutions one at a time then. And the first resolution is that excuse me. Hang on a second.
It's okay.
Okay, I do have a. Okay, this
The first resolution was, I'll make the motion.
Okay. Well, okay.
That the policies and procedures for contract approval, purchases up to and including $15,000.
But
Checks can be signed.
Hold on. Okay. Nope. All right. Go ahead. I'm good.
That the CAO may approve and sign checks for previously approved contracts up to and including $15,000. Purchases and contracts. I'll need a second.
I can second.
Thank you, Amy. Any further questions, comments, or discussions on the contract purchase approval? All those in favor?
Hold on, Jim. I do. I'm having. Is this the last version? Because it's not reflecting what I thought was our finalized version of it. I just want to make sure.
I've only got the one. Why don't you just read it? Why don't you just read the one you have?
Okay, the one is that I have is with the contract purchases, but I'm also looking at the one we had language in there about the reoccurring type expenses. And there was language in there that gave an example, and I'm looking for that. Not the same purchase. Okay, never mind. It's in the second one. Okay, I'm good.
Is it in the second one?
Yeah, we're covered. So I apologize.
Right. No, it's okay. There's a lot here. So basically, my motion is that the previous policies approved purchases on contracts of 2,500 or more, and we're moving it up to 15,000, basically. So that's the motion on the floor right now. Any other comments or? Hey, Amy, second. Sorry, you're too late. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Now, the next one is a little more involved. Yes, the authorizing signatures. Is this the correct one I'm looking at, Ricky?
This is the
Sign
correct
checks?
one. Yes, it is.
Okay. So basically, the CAO is authorized to sign checks for any purchase up to $5,000 and for all recurring purchases previously approved by the board in any amount. So I'll make that motion as well. Can I have a second on that one?
Second.
I'll second. Nope. Judy's got it.
Judy's in there. Okay, any other comments or questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the last one, capitalizing asset purchases of anything $5,000 or more. is the motion that you have before you. I'll make that motion as well. Who's going to second that one?
I'll second it.
Ricky's got that one. Further questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much, Ricky, for attending to all that.
Thank you.
Facilities Committee.
Okay, at the last board meeting, we talked about having engaged a consultant to help us as we explore potentially purchasing our building or relocating to a new facility, and trying to help us determine if the outcomes associated with that. Does it make a difference? What type of outcomes that you see? The consultant started the work on the project and did some of the demographic, some of the background, an analysis of the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats associated with it. She did present it to the facilities committee, and following that review, the committee had some discussions around what was presented and was it meeting the target of what we were trying to accomplish by bringing on the consultant. After robust discussion, it was determined that there wasn't a good fit with this contractor and what we were trying to accomplish when we initially engaged her, the firm's services. So the facility committee voted to discontinue the contract at this point. The next step of the contract was really to go out and start doing some of the focus group, gathering that direct information from our constituents as to what is their feeling, what are the impacts from their perspective. And the committee as a whole didn't feel that we had the right consultant engaged to get us to that determination. Part of it was, being outside of the market and not necessarily truly understanding the Niagara Falls itself market and some of the unique characteristics of that. So we determined that we no longer wanted to proceed with the contract, that we would terminate it, pay for services rendered, and look to move forward by trying to engage a more of a local source to assist us in doing that focus group, that outreach to the various constituents, and trying to help us determine our way forward with the whole facilities project and where do we go from here. That's really it in a nutshell. Any of the committee members who want to add and lend any further input, feel free to.
Darcy, can you fill us in a little bit more on what's inspired since then?
Yeah, well, just to piggyback off Ricky, yeah, we kind of everything he said, but to add to that, we're regrouping is where we're at. We went the avenue with, like Ricky said, with the consultant. We determined it wasn't a best fit. And so we had some conversation that included reaching out. I think it was Amy, your suggestion, reaching out to the UB Lifts program for administrative internship opportunities where future administrators are given assignments, and they're to work with schools on large projects. This might be something that an administrative internship might be able to help us with for no cost. We talked again about kind of revisiting, going back to the local universities, seeing what options might be there to, like Niagara University, or if they're the PhD piece, the dissertation piece is a little tricky. It could take longer than we would really like to for this type of project, but that's just a few examples of ideas that we talked about at our last meeting. And we did send out our annual parent survey, which we were doing anyways. And so we peppered in a couple new questions and some open-ended questions for parents to add in their input. And Jill and I have not had an opportunity to analyze that data as of today, but we certainly will have that prepared, at least those series of questions, if not the whole tool for the trustees to take a look at, as a starting data point. But yeah, I think our next step, Ricky, is we're probably going to like set another meeting date and, you know, kind of, we're going back to the drawing board with the planning phase, and then, which we said, this is why we started early, because we have we have the time to give our due diligence to this and our attention. So that's where we're at. I don't know if Teresa or anybody else who's on the committee has any, or Amy, anybody else, but that would be my addition.
Anybody else with respect to that agreement or that process? Okay, I do have one sort of disappointing update. I expected to hear from our current landlord with respect to a few issues regarding our current lease and some discussion with respect to the possibility of acquiring our current facility. He told me, he wrote to me that he was going to get another appraisal done for the facility, and I haven't heard from him. I will try and get a more formal response. We did hear from his assistant regarding one of our contractual matters we had discussed, and they've agreed to comply with our requests regarding one matter that was at issue prior to that. So we're making a little bit of progress there, but again, a little less quickly than we had anticipated. Any other questions or comments regarding facilities? Okay, thank you very much. Lynn took care of our unfinished business. So the next matter, as you see in your agenda, is a parent appeal of expulsion hearing. That is an executive session matter as it relates to student and parent issues. So I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Tim, real quick before you do that, does anybody have any question or need for Tim Highland? Because if not, I think he was going. I was just going to pop my head out. Did Ricky or Jim need him? Jonathan?
I don't.
We're good.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, I'll be right back then.
Okay, thanks. So a motion to go in executive session.
So motion.
Ricky, second.
I second.
Lauren,
Yep.
all those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you very much. Jill, will you please restrict the session to trustees, our attorney, and Jill and Darcy. And I'm sorry, Dean. Jill, we want.
You
Let
want-
me text Christy.
Okay,
I'll text her back. She
I
probably
told
hopped
her
off.
to be on standby.
She's going to be on standby.
We can grab her. I just told her I would text her.
Yeah. No, great. We should have her involved. She's intimately involved in the process.
I just
Unless
texted her.
any trustee object. Okay.
And it looks like we're good. I'm just waiting on Christy to jump back in, right, Jill? I think so
Perfect.
then.
Yep.
Yeah, we're back
Let
to
me
just
stop the
us.
recording really quick.
This meeting is being recorded.
Now I would. Now, yes, sir.
Maybe I can help whoever wants to make a motion. I'm trying to type one up.
Does anyone like to make a motion with respect to supporting the independent hearing officer and the CAO with respect to this decision?
I would make a motion to uphold the decision made by the hearing officer and the CAO of Niagara Charter School in regards to this student's disciplinary hearing.
Very
Thank you,
well.
Amy. Second from Ricky. Was that a second?
Sure. Wasn't me,
Okay.
but I'll take it.
Okay. We can discuss this further. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Attorney Schechter would like to maybe read a resolution if it makes sense and
Thank
for
you.
discussion. If it results in an amendment to the motion, that's fine. Resolved that after a formal review as a result of an appeal request by the mother of student A, the Board of Trustees uphold the March 15th, 2022 decision of Chief Academic Officer Darcy M. Novak, PhD, based on, among other things, the report and recommendation of the hearing officer in the case of student A.
That sounds exactly what Amy said to me.
Okay, so really,
Any further discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any abstentions?
I think there's one abstention I see, right? Ms. Cozio, Ms. Cozio, correct? Okay.
Right, okay, one abstention.
Okay, so we want to mark that one abstention.
Motion passed with 6 in favor and 1 abstention. Correct?
Yes, I think that is right. That was 1,
Thank you very
2, 3,
4.
4, 5, 6. Got it. Okay, like the Brady Bunch. Okay.
I will entertain one more motion tonight. Christine, make the motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Amy got it. Amy got it. All those in favor? I thank you very much for taking the time to go through this. Is very important. Have a
Good night.
lovely evening.